But to me, at the end of the day, it's like not about the gold medals that I've won. It's about trying to inspire the younger generation to do something special in their lives. And if I could do that, then my job is done.
You're the most decorated racquetball player in U.S. history. World's strongest man. From childhood passion to professional athlete. 8-time Ironman champion. So what was it like making your debut in the NHL? What is your biggest piece of advice for the next generation of athletes? From underdogs to national champions. This is the Athletes Podcast, where high-performance individuals share their triumphs, defeats, and life lessons to educate, entertain, and inspire the next generation of athletes. Here we go. Meghan Agosta is a 4-time Olympic medalist, winning gold for Canada in 2006 with Turin, 2010 in Vancouver, which we all know about, 2014 in Sochi, and most recently 2018 winning silver in Pyeongchang. As one of Canada's, if not one of the world's best female hockey players ever to grace the ice, we are honored today to feature Meghan Agosta here on the 200th episode of the Athletes Podcast. Here we go. Wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the show. Like you said, almost a year in the making, getting this conversation set up here in White Rock, of all places, my hometown,
Right.
Where you've migrated to, and originally born in Windsor, correct?
Yeah, born and raised in Windsor, Ontario. I say Windsor because if I say where I was really born and raised, people wouldn't know where that is. I was actually Ruthven, Ontario.
Okay.
But I say Windsor. So, my hockey career was in Leamington. And once I started playing, AAA hockey, that's when my parents started kind of traveling with me. But yeah, for the most part, that's where my childhood was, the grassroots of where my career all started.
The grassroots of what is arguably one of the best female hockey players to ever grace the ice. Someone who we were fortunate to meet at the RBC JCC Sports Dinner, where you were recognized as the Jack Diamond Sports Personality of the Year award winner. And they recognize an individual has consistently demonstrated a competitive and cooperative spirit, who has excelled in the field of sport, and who has made a positive contribution to our community. So for that, I say thank you. But I'd also like to ask what it meant to receive that award.
You know what? It was an honor and a privilege, especially being born and raised in Ontario. Spending the last 10 years here in Vancouver, continuing my hockey career. It was really hard because in 2014, when I actually moved here to start my policing career, I did have to take that year off. Hockey Canada supported me, went through police academy, started my career, 9 months later. And, I was eating, sleeping, training at different times. But I made zero excuses. No women's league here. I found myself playing with, the midget AAA boys here out of Langley. God bless them for allowing me to come and practice with them. And then playing with the Vancouver Police men's team. And then once I turned 30, the over 30 RCMP team. So it was a challenge. It was one of the biggest challenges in my whole career. But just knowing, me as an individual and the determination that I had, I wasn't going to take no for an answer. And going to one more Olympics was something that I wanted to do. So, looking back now, within those 3.5 years of, doing everything I can to be the best I could be in hopes to going to that 2018 Olympics, really, I guess allowed me to, showcase who I was here within the city of Vancouver, giving my time, skills development stuff, as a police officer. So just, I think I was more in shock when they told me that I was the recipient. But again, definitely an honor and a privilege. I do represent Vancouver now, and this is my home, and this is where my family is, and I'm very proud of it. And
you probably humbled some midget AAA Langley boys in the process, I'm sure.
You know what? They were great. They were awesome. I think they looked up to me. But it's always a lot different when, especially being a female, that's not my team going out there. They had their arms wide open. They welcomed me with, open arms, and they're the ones who really pushed me to be the best that I could be. And after the 2018 Olympics, I was, truthfully one of my best Olympics, the most consistent I ever was. So hats off and thanks to them and even, the Vancouver Police men's team and the RCMP team for allowing me to come out and play with them.
It's amazing to hear you say that was your best Olympic games when in 2010 you had 9 goals, 6 assists, top scorer at those winter games, voted most valuable player and best forward, being named to the media all-star team. Like, everyone remembers 2010, what it was like. What comes to mind first for you other than gold?
You know what? Being Canadian, being able to go to the Olympics and play on home soil was definitely an honor and a privilege. And yeah, I mean, we had so much pressure leading into the Olympics because we were, on home soil. But, our coaching staff prepared us. We knew as a team that we were better, than all the other countries. But when it comes down to it, anything could happen. So we just kind of had to stay focused. And when the puck dropped, we did what we needed to do. And I think it showed who the better team was in that Olympics. But, just being Canadian, walking the streets, whether you're skating on the ice for the first time for warm-ups or, it's the first or the ninth goal, the stands was absolutely electric. The city was electric. Everybody was cheering for, Team Canada as a whole. And that's definitely a memory and probably my most memorable Olympics for sure. All my family couldn't make it because my brother was playing university hockey and whatnot. But even though they weren't there, it's definitely, one of my favorite Olympics looking back now.
What was it that changed over the course of those 8 years that made Pyeongchang so much better for you from a performance standpoint? I
think just, growing as an athlete, both on and off the ice, taking on more of a leadership role. To me, it wasn't, I've always been that player that wanted to take, the younger players under my wing and make them feel comfortable and confident to play their best so that our team could be successful. And, we weren't successful and we lost in shootout in 2018. But I think just looking at my overall performance personally, I thought I did very well. And just that whole year, I was like super consistent. And, the coaches really looked to me, to kind of lead by example with, the rest of the team. And, I took a lot of pride in that. And then just looking back and again, like having my policing career, eating, sleeping, training at different times, there being no women's league here, I was actually very proud of myself for what I accomplished and how well I actually played. So, every Olympics is different teams, different memories. 2006, when I look at that, like my dad was born and raised in Italy. So to have my first Olympics in Italy was very special where all my family was there. And, I was only 18 at the time. So I'm very proud of my career. It's kind of crazy. But to me, at the end of the day, it's like not about the gold medals that I've won. It's about trying to inspire the younger generation to do something special in their lives. And if I could do that, then my job is done.
You're aligned with the Athletes Podcast mission to educate, entertain, and inspire the next gen. Then.
Well, that's a good thing.
That's why we've been pushing to get you on the show here. It's amazing we're able to do it for the 200th episode. You mentioned 2006 Turin. I believe the day was December 21st. You got the call for that to be designated to join Team Canada. What was that like as an 18-year-old joining that team? You mentioned being the one that brings younger players under your wing. Yeah.
So growing up, ever since I was 6 years old, it was always my dream to represent Canada and go to Olympic Games with a lot of sacrifice and hard work. That was, I remember in the summer, the head coach, Melody Davidson, gave me a call. She said, hey, you're one of, I think it was 27 or 28 girls to be able to try out for Team Canada. And I had tears running down my cheeks. I'm like, oh my God, this is my chance. This is my opportunity. And everything that I did leading up to this point has given me that chance. So, growing up, you have many childhood heroes. A lot of mine were like Cassie Campbell. And on the men's side, it was Steve Yzerman. And now realizing, oh my gosh, I'm in the same dressing room as them. At the beginning, I was homesick, first time moving away from home. I wasn't performing and, Mel pulled me aside a month and a half, 2 months in and was like, Megs, we brought you here for a reason. We believe in you. You just got to go out there and play to your full potential. And if you don't, then we kind of have to release you. And I went home that night and I'm like, what am I doing? This is such an amazing opportunity. I don't want to have any regrets. And the next day and moving forward, I just came to the rink and I just gave it my all. I played to my full potential. I wasn't thinking about things that I couldn't control. I was, thinking about the things that I could. And by the end of it, I think I had the most points within that kind of season. And I feel like they had no choice but to take me. But I was nervous, definitely. They called the meeting. They're going to make the team. It went from oldest to youngest. And of course, the oldest was Danielle Goyette at 40. So even that big age gap was a lot different. I knew who these girls were, but they weren't I wasn't really friends with them. So
less than half their age.
I was billeted. Anyways, going into my meeting, finally it was my turn. And I just knew, I gave it my all and I'd have zero regrets. So when I went in, the 3 coaches were on one side, I was on the other. And Mel looked at me and she said, "Congratulations, Megs, you're one of the 21 girls going." And I just had tears rolling down my cheeks. And I just couldn't wait to get out and call my parents and my family and let them know that, oh my gosh, like I'm going to be representing Canada in my first Olympics. And yeah, it was just definitely a dream come true, and definitely, a moment again that I'll never forget.
And when you look back, I mean, decades in the sport, you've now started the Augusta's High Performance Hockey Academy. You have the Meghan Agosta Foundation. Were there specific moments throughout those career-defining moments that stood out? You're like, oh, this is why I continue to come back, play this sport, why I love it, why I do work night shift, come back, train with Langley. Like, what were those like inspirations or things that you reminded of yourself?
Yeah, well, growing up, I've had 2 passions in my life. That's hockey and policing. And I take a lot of pride in, I guess, fulfilling both of those dreams. With playing for Team Canada, I was, fortunate enough to wear the maple leaf on my chest. And, being a Vancouver police officer, I wear the maple leaf on my shoulder flash. And, I take a lot of pride in it. I can't thank the Vancouver police enough for even giving me, that opportunity to, pursue my career and go to one more Olympics. The support that I've had from them has been, outstanding. And, but yeah, just, as a little girl, like I went to Jana Hefford's hockey school, and I remember leaving there and I told my parents, like, it'd be so cool to play with them one day. And not only did I play on the same team, in 2010, I was Jana Hefford's centerman.
Yeah.
So like just thinking of that, and, it starts with a dream, like find your passion, believe in yourself and your abilities. Don't be afraid to fail. And, with a lot of the knowledge and experiences that I've had with representing Canada, with being a police officer, I love kids. I love helping kids. I want to be able to give back. And that's kind of the legacy that I want to leave is, what could I do to make that next boy or girl's dream come true? I love the game of hockey. I love teaching it. Having my camp back east, like this past summer, I had 120 kids within 2 weeks. And
it's crazy.
The smiles on their faces, the memories that they have, those are the things that last a lifetime with me. And, now having a little girl, she just started playing hockey this year and coaching her team, and just seeing the smile on her face and just being like, oh my gosh, like how they progress, like every single day, every week, every month. It's been unbelievable. And now just being that hockey mom and giving my kids all the opportunities in the world, and we'll see where it goes. But, hockey was my passion. If that's my daughter or my son's passion, I'm going to be behind them 100% with my husband, and, giving them, all those chances in hopes that they could kind of do some cool things like myself one day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you get caught up in the moment? Are you behind the bench screaming and yelling? Are you a crazy hockey mom? Or
I don't think I'm a crazy hockey mom, but I just want everybody to do well and be successful and have fun. And, I think at this age, especially, chances for turning 5 next weekend, just have fun.
Yeah.
Like enjoy what you're doing, and everything else will kind of fall into place. And they're just still so young, and, just being able to live that healthy lifestyle, doing something they love, making friends, those memories. She'll be able to look back like her mom one day and just be like, wow, like what a great childhood I had. And that's what I do as, a woman now looking back on my career. I don't think it's hit me that I've, have been to 4 different Olympics, having 3 golds and 1 silver, but I think one day later on, I'm going to look back and definitely, be very proud of the accomplishments that I've made, I guess, throughout my career.
If you haven't yet, you should be. I can confidently say you, like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, one of the best female hockey players to ever grace the ice. And I say that confidently. I was actually talking with Carly Heffernan, who was episode 183 of the show, who played for Harvard hockey, was on the national team growing up, and she idolized you as well. And one of the things she was wondering was around how hockey has changed to allow a family during the career, and how that's become more accepted. Someone like Natalie Spooner, for instance,
Right.
who Phoenix and I actually met at the PWHL draft a couple months ago in Toronto. How does that make you feel seeing that?
I think it's absolutely amazing. I think a lot of my teammates were like, why would you start your career? And, just because, I guess when you think of hockey and you think of Team Canada, you eat, sleep, and play hockey, right? And for me, after the 2014 Olympics, I just felt like I met the right people. Everything kind of fell into my lap. And I'm like, why am I not starting my career? I should. I need to think bigger picture too, because, I'm not going to be able to play the game of hockey forever as much as we all want to. And I kind of just thought, like, what better opportunity? And, I took the leap of faith. I ended up applying. Within 3 months, I was hired. And I'm like, oh man, now this is real. And then I had to call Mel Davidson because she was the GM at the time. And I just kind of said to her, like, I'm not ready to retire, but, I feel like this is what's best for me as an athlete and as a person. And policing has always been something that I've wanted to do since high school. I'd hear lights or see lights, hear sirens, and want to like go and see what they're up to. And so that's part of the reason why when I was on a full ride scholarship to Mercyhurst University, I wanted to take criminal justice. And so I graduated Mercyhurst with criminal justice and a minor in criminal psychology, knowing that I wanted to be a police officer. So yeah, just kind of went through that, took that year off. Again, had zero regrets. I'm very proud of being able to kind of juggle both. It wasn't easy. It was definitely challenging, but I was up for the challenge, and I love to be put under pressure.
Clearly.
But yeah, and then after the 2018 Olympics, that's when I had my little girl chance, and I really wanted to come back. It just didn't work out the way that I was planning. But I'm very proud of the career that I had, and very proud to say that I've represented Canada on numerous occasions with World Championships and Olympics. And again, now it's my turn to be able to give that to my kids and give them those chances. But for these women who are having children and continuing to play, I think it's such an amazing thing. And again, like, I totally get what they're going through, because it's not easy to get your body back, and then be up all hours of the night with a little newborn. But as hockey players, we have that fight. We're determined. We're willing to do whatever it takes, and I think it shows.
Absolutely does. You mentioned World Championships. You were part of 8 of them, I believe, if I'm correct here, winning gold in 2007 and 2012 with silver medals to go along with it. Coming from a number 1 overall draft pick in 2011 in the CWHL, what do you think needs to be a focus for this new league of the PWHL? The recent teams announced the 6. Is there anything that particular stands out, comes to mind when you think about, or when you go through these conversations?
Yeah, I was never really a part of that, just based off of my career, and I've already kind of taken a step back. But no, I think they've done a great job with, how they got that league up and running, and they had the draft. And I think it was a very exciting time for everybody, not just the women who are getting drafted, but, the younger boys and girls, especially the little girls, looking up to these amazing athletes. And yeah, it's only a matter of time that it's going to continue getting better. But, it would be nice in time to have, other teams, especially out this way here in Vancouver. I know it's super expensive, but I think it would be amazing to see. And who knows, maybe one day, my little girl will be a part of that league. And but, like anything, it takes time. But I think they've done a great job.
And I think recent media reports have said that it was 4 years ago, media share was 4% for women's sports, and we're up to 15% now. So we're
That's
slowly
awesome.
getting there.
Yeah, it's great to see.
We're trying to do it more here on the Athletes Podcast, so that Chance sees it, right? And so that other little girls down can see the fact that, incredible women deserve to have the same media share.
Yeah, exactly.
That men receive. One of the things that I was really curious about is, like, you were the interviewer on Canucks with Cars a couple times, interviewing some fun individuals, one of those being Bruce Boudreau, who we had on the 100th episode. So every 100, we keep the hockey thing consistent.
Yes.
But anything stand out from doing that, sitting on the other side, being the one asking the questions?
Yeah, well, originally when they asked, I was like, oh, okay, I could do, it's just another interview kind of thing. This is kind of cool. But then when they emailed me back saying, no, you're going to be the one interviewing them, I'm like, oh, no. But what an amazing experience to be able to interview, these great athletes. I knew a lot of them, with being a part of the Canucks alumni and whatnot. But Bruce's episode was great. I thought he's such a great person, amazing coach. And it was really nice to be able to get to know him more on a personal level. And I thought it was a great opportunity for me. I'm not sure that broadcasting is in my future, but definitely something that, again, I took a lot of pride in. And I thought it was a really cool thing to kind of, be on the other side, asking these guys these questions and kind of just getting to know a lot more about them.
Yeah, Gabby, he was a good one. He was a lot of fun when we were able to chat with him in Niagara, actually. You've mentioned your other career, policing. I wanted to shine light. We've had multiple first responders on the show because there's a direct correlation with athletes, high performers. How much do you think the world of athletics translates into your career now and the lessons that you learned growing up from, whether it's time management, whether it's physical fitness? How else does that apply for maybe athletes who are transitioning out of sport and considering a new career?
Right. Time management, physical fitness, 100%. But for me, my whole life has been being a part of a team. And for policing, it's the same thing. You're a part of a team and you go into these calls together, you come out together. And then I love being under pressure, and policing, especially you're in a lot of pressure. There's highs, there's lows. But yeah, I think the biggest reason why I wanted to become a police officer was because I wanted to help people. When people's life are in the balance, they call 911 and we're there within like minutes. I've taken on a new role with the Vancouver Police. I'm now a school liaison officer. So now using my hockey background with youth, being that inspiration, having, I guess, kids of my own, understanding kids a heck of a lot more, and just being there when, the schools need me, but also when these kids need me, and to be a person to talk to and have, those positive relationships. Everybody, most of the people that I talk to remembers their school liaison officer. Yeah. So I take a lot of pride in that. I'm very, proud to have, I guess, have most of my career has been operational with patrol for the past 9.5 years. So now to kind of change it up and to be in schools every day, it's been really cool so far. It's only been a month and a bit, but just be that inspiration for, these younger generation of kids, and kind of keep them on that right track, and in hopes that, they could be successful in their lives too.
No, that's amazing. And you mentioned Mercyhurst. You knew basically from a young age that you wanted to go in policing. There was never a doubt.
Yeah, never a doubt. Always policing. I was growing up, I thought of like nursing or like being a contractor or whatnot, but policing was definitely my number one. And, once I graduated from Mercyhurst, it was just a matter of when and where. And then after the 2014 Olympics, everything kind of fell into my lap. I was doing events out here. It kind of seemed like all my events were here in Vancouver after 2014 Olympics. And then my brother lived out here during that time, and I met some of his teammates that played for the Vancouver police team. And he's like, hey, you got to go out and play with the guys. I'm like, I'm here for an event. I'm not going to go play with the guys. He's like, no, you have to. They're expecting you. I'm like, okay, fine. So then after...
You've been voluntold.
Right? Like after the game, we started talking, and they're like, yeah, Vancouver police are hiring. You should apply. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I did it, and then I just got hired. So again, then I met my husband, and we have such a beautiful family. I have 2 step boys, Jaden, who's 13, Jackson, who's 10. Chance is turning 5 next weekend, and my little guy Rylan just turned 2 days ago. So busy household. I come from a family of 6, so 50% of the time there's 6 of us. The other 50, there's just 4 of us. But it's great. Again, I love being a mom, and I wouldn't change my life for anything. I absolutely love, the journey and the path that I've taken. And policing is, I look at it not as a job. I look at it more as a hobby. So to be able to do something, not playing the game of hockey anymore professionally and doing something else that I love, it's been a really cool, I guess, career thus far.
And it's helping people, which seems to be a reoccurring theme with you. Happy birthday belated to Rylan as well. Yes. We'll make sure he might be on the Athletes podcast in 20 years too.
Hopefully.
I'm sure he's got tons of energy. What brought you to White Rock?
Just my brother lived in North Van at the time. So when I went through police academy, I lived with him.
Okay.
And then after that, my husband, he was born and raised in Ladysmith. He lived out here in Surrey, and we just looked for a house in White Rock, South Surrey area. And we actually built a townhouse, one of those. And then we moved into another townhouse, kind of rented that one out. And then we sold both for a single family home. So we feel really blessed. We love where we live. I love this area. I'll never forget where I was born and raised. I go there every summer. Mm-hmm. I do miss home. I miss my family. I miss my friends. But then again, this is where, we've chosen to raise our family. And I think it's really cool. Like I was born and raised in a really small town, same with my husband, Jason. But, our kids being able to, I guess, grow up living in a big city is a lot different. But who knows where, life will take us. You
White
never
Rock,
know.
White Rock, known as a huge city now. Or?
Well, no, I'm saying like
I'm
South
kidding.
Surrey, but yeah.
I'm kidding. I only say that because I did the opposite. I went out to Toronto for a bit.
Yeah.
And if I tell anyone, I say I'm from Vancouver, just because explaining White Rock takes that extra couple
Right.
pieces.
Exactly.
But it's funny because White Rock is, part of the greater Vancouver area, and you're only 40 minutes away, and you can get in through transit nicely, I'm sure.
Exactly. Well, where I was born and raised, it's really flat farmland, but here it's the beautiful mountains, the oceans, the beaches. So you can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
When people come out here, they understand why, and they get why it's so expensive. But I do miss home, but I'm back every summer, and it's really cool. I get to bring my family, and my two little ones, they get to see where I was born and raised, where I went to school, where I started my hockey career, my little journey. So I guess time will tell, but we're open to kind of be wherever, and as long as our kids are doing what they love to do, and getting that education, that's what's most important.
Were you playing on the outdoor rink back at home when you were
yeah,
growing
my
up?
dad would build an outdoor rink every winter, and it was super cold, but my brother and I would make sure that we watered it every night. It was ready to go every morning. We would use our basement like as our change room. We'd have the tunes going, the hot chocolate. My mom would be doing that kind of thing. So again, like those memories, it's unfortunate that we can't have those types of winters here, because my husband and I would build a rink for our kids and they would absolutely love it. But with Chance being in hockey now and she's on the ice 3 times a week, I think it's really good, especially for her age. But then again, we'll kind of see where life takes them and life takes us. And we're just excited to be able to, have healthy kids who are able to, play sports. And sports are a big part of my husband and I's life. So, we'll kind of just see where it goes. My stepson plays FC Coastal here, and he's a really good soccer player. So we're super busy on weekends.
Yeah, never stops.
But that's kind of the way my parents' life was. So now I'm just, kind of living through, I guess, what they did, and then just like being that mom. But we enjoy it, and we're very thankful.
Do you think those games growing up on the outdoor rink with your brother contributed to your success?
100%. I mean, my parents had to pull me inside every night. Like I was outside every day, on my rollerblades, either by myself or with my brother, playing street hockey with the neighborhood kids. Like it was every single day, shots, working on my skills, working on my skating. But that was my passion. Like I loved it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like nowadays, like with these athletes, like there's some that are like, oh my God, like the Connor Bedards, right? Like shot after shot, working on, different skills, to, be successful. It's really amazing to see. And that's what type of athlete I was. And, we'll kind of, I guess, see where Chance and Rylan go with that. But yeah, like as a mom, we love being outside. We love, playing sports. So yeah,
it's an interesting thing when there's always seems to be the cream that rises to the top, but people have varying interests. And now, a guy like Nikola Jokic in the NBA treats his NBA job as a job. Like he goes home in the summers and races horses. Like he doesn't give a damn about basketball afterwards, which is crazy.
Yeah.
He's still one of the best athletes.
You do need breaks once in a while for sure. But growing up, I don't think I had many breaks. Like I was figure skating and playing hockey at some point in grade school or elementary. I was playing every sport. But I just love sports. Like it was in my blood, I guess. And, having a brother who, was into sports as well, we just pushed each other. And I mean, he was successful in hockey. He never made it to the NHL, but he got a full ride scholarship. He went overseas and played, pro over there. So, our experiences together. And now we're like coaching his son and my daughter together this year. So it's kind of like full circle. It's really cool.
So cool. Obviously still playing hockey with the Vancouver men's police team, but because sports were such an impact and because you have the beaches and the mountains, what sports are you guys getting into now? Are you doing anything outside of hockey and chasing around the kids?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, soccer is big. We love going to parks. We love going for hikes. With Chance and Rylan still being a little bit young, we can't really get him into, like the baseball or the golf or, but they love swimming. I mean, the sky's the limit, really. Yeah. I think in time will tell. But yeah, like we just want to give our kids, all the opportunities, look at all the sports you could play, give them those chances and then just let them choose. Yeah. Again, hockey was my passion, but, their passion might be different. And as a mom, I just want to support them and, give them, those chances and those opportunities.
Did you play a bunch growing up too? That's one of the things I always want to reference, like, okay, it shouldn't just be hockey from 3 years old.
Yeah,
till
no,
you're
you need
23,
breaks. I started in figure skating, switched to hockey, played hockey. In the summers, I would do golf or I would play baseball. And then, just like, even just have time off really. But in elementary, I played everything like basketball, soccer, badminton, track, cross country.
Yeah.
Like I literally did it all. But again, like I just absolutely love sports, but that's just me as an individual. Everybody's different. But you do need breaks. Like a lot of the parents come to me at hockey school and they're like, hey, like I signed my kid up for all these things. I'm like, no, like they need a break. Like don't burn them out, especially nowadays, right? Like there's so many different things you could get into. But playing different sports, it's going to allow you to be an all-around, athlete other than just like focusing on one.
Yeah. I always like to sneak that in there for those coaches, parents that are watching, and make sure they take note that it's important to play other things. And you can still end up being one of the best hockey players in the world. Meghan Agosta, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, sharing your knowledge, wisdom. The way we wrap up every episode, we ask our guests their biggest piece of advice for the next generation of athletes. And before we get to the Fueled Her Way segment, I'd love for you to share what your biggest piece of advice would be.
Mine would be to set goals, dream big, believe in yourself and in your abilities, and the sky's the limit. I mean, I'm coming from a really small town. You blink, you miss, and if I could do it, you could do it too. And again, like to me, it's not about those gold medals and silver medal that I've won. It's about trying to inspire the younger generation to do something special in their lives. And it starts with a dream, and then go with your passion. And again, the sky's the limit. But thank you.
Man, for Chance and Ryder, the two that get to hear that every night, they're very lucky.
Yeah.
If you don't, just play this episode on repeat because that was inspiring. I really appreciate your time, Meghan.
Awesome. Thank you very much.